Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my office. I'm Mike Jack Stoumbos, author of the series This Fine Crew, and today I'm going to be reading an opening passage from the first of the This Fine Crew books, The Signal Out of Space. At this point, The Signal Out of Space and its sequel, A Rupture in Time, are both available from Chris Kennedy Publishing and Theogony Books. And really excited about the third one's coming out in March 4th, 2022. And along the ways, we will see what happens with books 4, 5, and 6 and their release dates. But for now, I want to go ahead and give people a little bit of an opening of the story. So we're going to start right from the beginning, the prologue of The Signal Out of Space. If you have never heard any part of this book before, that is okay. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. Prologue, Lidstrom. Day 4 of training, Olympus Mons Academy. I want to make something clear from square one. We were winning. More importantly, I was winning. Sure, the whole thing was meant to be a team effort, and I never say this to an academy instructor. But the fact of the matter is this: it was a race, and I was in the driver's seat. Like hell, I was going to let any other team beat us, experimental squad or not. At our velocity, even the low planetary grav didn't temper the impact of each ice mogul on the glistening red terrain. We rocketed up, plummeted down, and cut new trails in the geoformations, spraying orange ice and surface rust in our wake. So much of the red planet was still like a fresh sheet of snow, and I was eager to carve every inch of it. Checking on the rest of the crew, I thought our tactical cadet was going to lose her lunch. I had no idea how the rest of the group was managing, different species being what they are. Of our complement of 5 souls, sans AI assist, or anything else that cadets should learn to live without, Shin and I were the only humans. The communications cadet was a teak, all exoskeleton and antennae, but the closest to familiar. He sat in the co-pilot seat, ready to take the controls if I had to tap out. His 2 primary arms were busy with the scanning equipment, but one of his secondary hands hovered over the e-brake, which made me more anxious than assured. I could hear the reptile humming in the seat behind me, in what I registered as thrill each time I overcame a terrain obstacle with even greater speed, rather than erring on the side of caution. Rushing along the ice hills of Mars on 6 beautifully balanced wheels was a giant step up from the simulator. The design of the red terrain vehicle was pristine, but Academy-contrived obstacles mixed with natural formations bumped up the challenge factor. The dummy fire sounds from our sensors and our mounted cannon only added to the sense of adventure. The whole thing was like fulfilling a fantasy, greater than my first jet around good old Luna. If the camera evidence had survived, I bet I would have been grinning like an idiot right up until the teak got the bogey signal. "Cadet Lidstrom," the teak said, fast but formal through his clicking mandibles. "Unidentified signal. 15 degrees right of heading." His large eyes pulsed with green luminescence, bright enough for me to see in the corner of my vision. It was an eerie way to express emotion, which I imagined would make them terrible at poker. I hardly had a chance to look at the data while maintaining breakneck KPH, but in the distance, it appeared to be one of our surface vehicles, all 6 wheels turned up to the stars. The lizard hummed a different note and spoke in strongly accented English. "Do we have time to check?" The big furry one at the rear gruffed in reply, but not in any language I could understand. "Maybe it's part of the test," I suggested, "like a bonus." "Paul, was it hard to find?" The teak, who went by Paul, clicked to himself and considered the question. His exoskeletal fingers worked furiously for maybe a second before he informed us, "It is obscured by interference." "Sounds like a bonus to me," Shin said. Then she asked me just the right question. "Lidstrom, can you get us close without losing our lead?" The RTV would have answered for me if it could, casting an arc of red debris as I swerved. I admit, I did not run any mental calculations, but a quick glance at my rear sensors assured me, hell yeah, I got this. In the mirror, I saw our large, hairy squad mate, the Prukta, transitioning to the grappler interface in case we needed to pick something up when we got there. Shin, on tactical, laid down some cannon fire behind us, tiny non-lethal silicon scattershot, to kick up enough dust that even the closest pursuer would lose our visual heading, for a few seconds at least. I did not get a chance to find out what the reptile was doing as we neared the overturned vehicle. I had maybe another half K to go when Paul's eyes suddenly shifted to shallow blue and his jaw clicked wildly. He only managed one English word: peculiar. Before I could ask, I was overcome with a sound, a voice, a shrill screech. I shut my eyes for an instant, then opened them to see where I was driving and the rest of my squad, but everything else was awash in some kind of blue light. If I thought it would do any good, I might have tried to plug my ears. Paul didn't have the luxury of closing his compound eyes, but his primary arms tried to block them. His hands instinctively guarded his antennae. Shin half fell from the pivoting cannon rig, both palms cupping her ears, which told me the sound wasn't just in my head. The reptile bared teeth in a manner too predatory to be a smile, and a rattling hum escaped her throat, dissonant to the sound. Only the Prukta weathered this unexpected cacophony with grace. She stretched out clearly muscled arms and grabbed anchor points on either side of the vehicle. In blocky computer-generated words, her translator pulsed out, "What is that?" Facing forward again, I was able to see the signs of wreckage ahead and of distressed ground. I think I was about to ask if I should turn away when the choice was taken from me. An explosion beneath our vehicle heaved us upward, nose first. Though nearly bucked out of my seat, I was prepared to recover our heading or even to stop and assess what had felt like a bomb. A second blast, larger than the first, pushed us from behind, probably just off my right rear wheel, spraying more particulates and lifting us up again. One screech was replaced with another. Where the first had been almost organic, this new one was clearly the sound of tearing metal. The safety belt caught my collarbone hard as my body tried to torque out of the seat. Keeping my eyes open, I saw one of our tires, maybe 2/3 of a tire, whip off into the distance on a strange trajectory, made even stranger by the fact that the horizon was spinning. The red planet came at the windshield, and the vehicle was wrenched enough to break a seal. I barely noticed the sudden escape of air. I was too busy trying, futilely, to drive the now upside-down craft. All right, that is the end of the prologue of The Signal Out of Space, book 1 of this fine crew. We've got Signal and Rupture, both available online. And no, we do not currently have a formal audiobook for it yet. And so with these kinds of chapters, I'm reading them just as I might in a bookstore if we were having normal bookstore appearances, release parties, and signings. Given that it is COVID, some things have been sort of shifted around and turned online. But that also means that we get to reach a lot more people via some clips like this. I'm going to go ahead and read the first couple of chapters because in this fine crew, there are 4 characters who tell the story, each of whom is a different species. And in order to solve the mystery and figure out the conspiracy that is impacting the Interstellar Initiative and the Academy that all of them are attending, you need to get all 4. So I want to at least introduce you to each of those 4 characters. Today we heard from Lidstrom, the human pilot, and later we're going to hear from Paul Newman, the teak, and then the other 2, the lizard, Casil, and the large furry Prukta on the back, and that would be Arch. Hopefully you get a chance to check those ones out. I'll go ahead and post them, and somewhere in this screen there should be a button where I've linked to them. In addition to that, if you're curious about this series and any of my other stories that are coming out, I do have a lot of science fiction and fantasy stories that have been published in anthologies and other collections, as well as a story going on Kindle Vella being published serially. So that's a couple of installments a week. And the best place to find out about those would be my website. So check out the link to the website, and please like, subscribe to the YouTube, and also please subscribe to the free newsletter where, yes, there's also going to be a free story attached. If you go to my website, you can find all the details on that. Thank you all for listening, and have a great day.